Chapter 36 The Old Forest. When last met, the menagerie collected themselves in town, then briefly discussed the disappearances in Bodavir. It was a unanimous decision that they should investigate once they were done with their work in the city, so Domitianus headed off to Perseus' hut, while everyone else returned to the Thistlegrove estate for the rest of the day. Time quickly passed as Caun played with the children of the Thistlegrove estate alongside Perkring. One by one, as they became exhausted, Caun picked them up by their collars and playfully brought them to bed. Finally, the day ended as Leste gossiped with Sonora and Joker about the bulwark, and the next day started earlier than expected, with a rooster marking dawn before Perkring could. This enraged the bird, but the menagerie needed to explore the forest between Bodavir and Cibala, so everyone got to work bright and early, and got to leave around noon to explore the forest. The only lead they got was that the lost hunting party departed towards the northwest, so the menagerie exited the city in that direction. To help guide them further, Domitianus took out their compass that pointed them to the magic dead zone in Tail, and found it was pointing northwest as well. Maybe its menagerie followed the compass for the rest of the day, then set up camp once nightfall was near. The first watch started with Nixie on patrol, and she noticed the ancient vine she found in Tail was emanating magic. She talked to it, and it spoke of an empty space calling to it, and how it was growing as night approached. After confirming with Maka, the vine was likely feeling the party getting closer to the magical dead zones. During the rest of her watch, Nixie was distracted by the danger of the dead zones, and of the adventures she was on. All of this was making her homesick and afraid about her failing her child. Maka helped calm her down though, letting her know she was safe, and that her daughter should still be in trusted hands. The two chatted into the night until Nixie was calm and happy, then watch switched to Caun and Leste. The draconic duo had an uneventful night, with Leste singing tales of dragons to Caun as he got rest. When watch was switched to Joker and Perkring, Joker gave the bird tips and tricks on how to hide better, with the watch being uneventful, until the end of it. Just as the sun was starting to rise and Joker was about to start waking everyone up, the two heard someone loudly speaking, trying to find if someone was in the woods. Eventually, that figure found Perkring and introduced himself as Mirasmun Okos, and he was curious why someone was in the woods he was tasked with protecting. The two were uneasy at his presence, but they saw no harm in telling him why, so Perkring told him that they were there for a missing hunting group, while Joker woke everyone up. With their eyes almost glazed over, Okos said he did not know where the missing people were, but they were likely in the heart of the woods, and offered to show the party the way. After some discussion between the menagerie, they agreed to follow him, but no one trusted him. Everyone packed their things up and followed Okos to the heart of the woods. Strangely, he made no note about Caun's existence as they began their journey, which did not help their collective unease. During the travel, Domitianus kept track of where the compass marked, and found it pointed right where the stranger was leading them, so the path was at least promising. Still, everyone was on edge, so the menagerie got to talking with their guide, asking him who tasked him to protect these woods and where he was from, hoping that these answers could calm their concerns. After a lot of convincing, he disclosed that his long-dead mentor, Esmera, tasked him with protecting the forest, and that this forest was not his home. Instead, his home was Iravon, but for the life of him he could not remember why he had to abandon the country. If his home was Iravon, this would have placed him older than almost all historical records, so Leste asked if he had heard of the Draconic War. Yet again though, his eyes glazed over, and he said he did not know of anything about that war. Leste stepped away from Okos, and Domitianus approached her. They asked Leste if she trusted them, and when she responded in the affirmative, they disclosed that Okos likely was not alive. Joker and Perkring as well were talking in tongues to each other, relaying how little they trusted Okos and how suspicious he was. Everyone was on edge, ready to draw their weapons at the first sign of conflict, and Okos pointed out a large tree just coming into the view. He explained that this was the heart of the forest, and guided the party closer and closer to the base of the tree. By this point, the compass Domitianus was holding kept changing directions rapidly, implying many anti-magic zones were in close proximity. There was a small clearing before the base of the tree, with caves below exposed from centuries of weathering, eroding the topsoil. When everyone got close enough to the base of the tree, Okos turned to the menagerie, then proclaimed that they would help keep the Okos legacy alive. Now several party members noticed that in the caves and around the roots of the great tree, bodies of unidentified humans sunk into the environment. Behind Okos, the great tree warped into a vile visage of a shade spirit, as both the tree and Okos lunged at the party. In kind, Damatanis lunged at the shade, telling everyone to focus on it. The tree caused the earth to tremor as it let massive branches collide to the ground and dark magic enveloped the area. But the party was too much for the pair. The menagerie first overwhelmed Okos, with Leste being the one to finally put the undead to rest. Then the group followed up with the shade tree. It was not easy, but after dodging branches and taboo magic, Damatanis dealt the final blow to the tree. The conflict was just beginning though, as when the shade tree dissipated into nothing, Damatanis became overwhelmed. They cried out for the menagerie to run as their spirit and their body separated into a shade and a husk, leaving an all too familiar black ichor between the two. With that, let us continue.